On the Liberty of the Press. From a speech made by Freeron in the convention on August 26, 1794. How unfortunate it is that after 5 years of a revolution, begun by the light which the liberty of the press had flashed, even in the eyes of despots, if, after having enjoyed for 4 years the most indefinite liberty of thinking, speaking, writing, and printing, if, after having inscribed this liberty in the Declaration of the Rights of Man, as the most sacred of all rights, the most inviolable and invincible protection of the rest, we now find ourselves obliged to call for a decree on the liberty of the press. I respect the convention too much. I have studied this spirit and the effect of its laws too deeply to ask if there is a law that abolishes the liberty of the press. No law of yours could take from the people, your sovereign and your constituent, the enjoyment of the first of the rights of man. But the tyrant, to whom nothing was sacred but his own pride, trampled equally underfoot the rights of man and your laws. By him were sent to death men guilty of no other crime, but that of having printed their opinions at a time when even the excess of liberty had the protection and the guarantee of all the laws and all the powers. As artful as he was cruel, he never ventured to say printing is forbidden, but the guillotine fell on every man who availed himself of his right. To make liberty go backwards, it was necessary for him to make knowledge do so too. If the press have remained free, the number of irreproachable citizens who were daily dragged from their homes to the prison, and from the prison to the scaffold, would have raised their voice. Details of the horrors committed in the prisons would have been presented to the view of a humane people. The outrages of justice and humanity by assassins, which he called a tribunal, would have resounded from one end of the republic to the other, and not only whatever wore a human heart, but the very stones would have risen up against the monster, who harangued on mortality and virtue, while he stopped every voice that could speak of his innumerable crimes. Thus he suppressed at once the freedom of debate, by which the convention could have denounced him to the nation, and the liberty of the press, by which the nation would have denounced him to the convention. This dreadful example ought to teach us how necessary is the liberty of the press to terrify, to unmask, and to stop the plots of ambitious men. Everything also tells us how necessary is this legislation to maintain, in representative legislation, the true attributes of democracy, and to collect around the legislators the information that is indispensable for establishing, in a vast democracy, order with equality, and the most perfect security, with the most extensive liberty.